As we step into 2026, many people are filled with expectations. There is hope, there is excitement, and there is also pressure to make this year better than the previous ones. But the truth is that a new year by itself does not change a life. Time moves forward, calendars flip, but progress only happens when the way we think changes. If nothing shifts in the mind, the year will simply pass like every other year. Making 2026 worth it starts with understanding that our lives are largely shaped by how we think. Science has shown us that the brain is not fixed. It can learn, adjust, and rewire itself based on repeated thoughts and actions. This means that many of the habits, fears, and limitations we struggle with today were learned over time. And if they were learned, they can also be unlearned. Change is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of mental training. Many people end one year and enter another with the same mindset. They carry the same attitudes, the same reactions, and the same excuses into a brand new season. That is why the results do not change. The mind keeps repeating familiar patterns, and the brain follows what it knows. Without intentional change, 2026 will only repeat 2025 in a different calendar point. One major reason people struggle is because they depend on motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is emotional and unstable. It comes and goes. Discipline, however, is built through consistency. Science tells us that habits are formed by repetition, not excitement. Waiting to feel ready or inspired keeps many people stuck. Those who make progress are the ones who act even when they do not feel like it. Another challenge is the habit of blaming circumstances. It is easy to point to the economy, family background, lack of support, or past mistakes. While these challenges may be real, constantly blaming them trains the brain to feel powerless. Responsibility, on the other hand, activates growth. The moment a person takes ownership of their choices, the mind begins to search for solutions instead of excuses. There is also the belief that people cannot change, that this is just how I am. Science disagrees with that idea. The brain grows when it is challenged. Skills can be learned. Confidence can be developed. Intelligence and ability are not fixed traits. When a person believes they can grow, their brain responds differently to challenges. Instead of shutting down, it adapts. Our thoughts play a powerful role in shaping our identity. The thoughts we repeat daily strengthen certain pathways in the brain. Over time, those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs influence our actions. If a person constantly thinks they are weak, inconsistent, or incapable, their behavior will align with that belief. But when thoughts change, identity begins to shift, and behavior follows. We often think success is about setting big goals, but the truth is that people do not rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their identity. If your identity does not support your goals, you will sabotage your own progress. Making 2026 worth it requires building an identity that supports growth, discipline, learning, and consistency. Small actions done daily have more power than big actions done occasionally. Science calls this the compound effect. Tiny improvements may seem insignificant at first, but over time they produce massive results. The year will not be won in one moment. It will be won in daily mental and behavioral choices. Point 1. Important mindset shift for 2026 is moving from fear to learning. Fear is natural, but it should not be the driver of decisions. When the brain is afraid, it focuses on survival, not growth. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" a better question is, "What can I learn?" Failure is not the end, it is information. Every mistake teaches something valuable if we are willing to learn. Another shift is moving from comfort to growth. The brain prefers comfort because it feels safe. But growth only happens when we stretch slightly beyond what feels easy. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong, it is often a sign that development is taking place. Avoiding discomfort keeps people stagnant. Embracing it builds strength. Intentional living is also key. Many people live on autopilot, reacting to life instead of directing it. They allow emotions, situations, and other people to control their responses. But training the mind to pause and act intentionally creates better outcomes. Instead of asking, "How do I feel right now?" we should ask, "What choice aligns with the future I want?" Daily mental training makes a real difference. What we expose our minds to, especially in the early hours of the day, affects our focus and emotional state. Starting the day with purpose, reflection, or positive direction helps the brain stay balanced and productive throughout the day. The words we speak to ourselves also matter. The brain listens. Repeated self-talk shapes belief. Speaking words that reinforce discipline, growth, and progress is not pretending, it is conditioning the mind. Over time, the brain begins to accept these statements as truth and acts accordingly. Our environment also plays a powerful role. The people we spend time with, the content we consume, and the atmosphere we live in influence our mindset more than willpower does. Changing the environment often makes growth easier than trying to force change through effort alone. Reflection is another powerful tool. Taking time regularly to review what is working and what is not builds self-awareness. Self-awareness helps the brain adjust and improve. Without reflection, people repeat the same mistakes without realizing it. In the end, making 2026 worth it comes down to a conscious decision. This year will not be defined by chance or wishful thinking. It will be defined by how intentionally the mind is trained. When the mind changes, habits change. When habits change, results change. 2026 can be a turning point, not because everything will be easy, but because the mindset will be stronger. The goal is not perfection but progress. The goal is not comfort but growth. When the mind is aligned with purpose and discipline, the year becomes meaningful. Make 2026 worth it by choosing to train your mind daily. Choose growth over excuses, discipline over feelings, and intention over reaction. When the mindset is right, the future becomes possible.